Goodbye, Ultraman Blazar. It's been a blast covering you for the past year. This was a very much an emotional end to the show. I love the way that the show just continued to use its main theme of communication and the current generation fixing the previous generation's mistakes. Everything about this finale just felt right. With the full reveal of what happened in that fateful day slash night, we don't really know the time, in 1999, which I already kind of talked about in my episode 24 review, but some things were highlighted. First, V99 didn't send an asteroid, but it was a fleet of ships, and the man that was directing the order to shoot them down was in fact the Boshi. So I was right. The Boshi is just an old man that doesn't get anything, slightly bigoted, and after the research team found some of the ships that crash landed on Earth, they found that none of the ships had any weapons on them. So, V99 as an enemy was purely made because of some sort of a lack of communication. The Boshi didn't even think about communicating with them. It's like, oh, we don't understand them. They're probably invading. It's like, how do you know that? You can't just decide on a whim that's like, oh, that's it. They want to kill us. It's kind of fucked if you really think about it. And I just love that scene when Anari just laid out all of this information after she was captured by the Boshi's men. I was wrong about that in episode 24. Like, I genuinely thought it was Retsuno's because it like felt like a big old like, oh my god, no. Like a big kind of like lead up that, oh, she's going to get captured, but she doesn't. But no, she got captured, but later she was saved by Retsuno and his men, and having him as some sort of her hype man was great. I love Retsuno. Like, as a character, he grew on me so much. I was like, I'm sad to see you leave. No. And it was just great to see him kind of interacting and trying to push Retsuno out. And it's like, oh, I'm slowly getting more and more of my power back. Until like the end of the episode, he actually kind of tells the GGF to actually disarm their weapons because the fleet of ships are in the fourth wave. That was great. And just seeing the Boshi's face when all of his secrets are being revealed was amazing. And it is really interesting how the episode kind of tried to play with the Boshi as a character. Because you can clearly see the Boshi is a flawed character that thinks in a very old-timey manner. He didn't really evolve with the times, but he kind of understands that all my secrets are out and probably they wouldn't accept me back in, so I would just leave for this new generation, this new current generation to just, continue to do their things. But it's so upsetting that he didn't actually get any repercussion. He just left. It's very realistic if you really think about it. But yeah, like overall, like this part of the episode was great. I felt that probably a lot of V99 would be revealed in the final episode, and I felt like during my watch of the show, it's like, would it be good for the show to actually reveal it like in the final episode? And I thought it would be a bad thing, but I don't know, like it felt like if they would have revealed it in the middle or close to the end, like not at the end but close to it, I don't know what the show could have done. And specifically the way that they kind of like the final battle kind of worked. Yeah, it worked better with the big reveal about V99 to be in the final episode. But yeah, like, I love that part. And to the biggest reveal of the episode, in my opinion, and that was all the alien ships were torn apart. And their parts not only made the wormhole machine that wasn't found in America, it was made, but also Earthy. Yes, Earthy is part alien, which does make sense if you really think about it. How much a lot of Scarred's weapons are like super futuristic, but if you look at the GGF's weapons, those are just like regular ass assault rifles. Like you can buy them in Target in America. So it's like you can clearly see the big leap point in technology from like the GGF, Scarred, and like Earth Garon. It's like, wow, there is this big jump. And you can clearly see that one is clearly getting their weapons from another source. And I loved that in the end, they solved their problems with V99 by communicating, by using Earth Garon to speak to V99. I loved it. The idea that a new fleet of ships entered the atmosphere of Earth. Like, the GGF straight up is like, oh no, they're an enemy. Fourth wave. Fucking lock your missiles. And it's like, Amy and the rest of Scarred is like, no, like, let's talk to them. Wait, maybe maybe they don't want to fight us. And it's like, they have fucking Earthy talk to them and they say how much they're afraid of Earth, but also they are looking for a new planet, and they actually like tell them to like, hey, we're sorry, it's a misunderstanding, bro, but we are not your enemy. It's so good, and it's the most creative way to get rid of the main bad guy of the show, quote unquote. That was amazing. They used the main themes of the show. Again, one of the things that Taguchi talked about when the show got announced as one of the main themes of the show was fucking communication. And they did it. I love Blazar. I absolutely love it. And for the rest of the characters, after landing back on Earth, Gento leaves for his doctor appointment to get cleared by his doctor. But it was a cover-up to a fantastic scene when Gento thanked Blazar for what he's done. But now it's time for Scar to fight. And everything about that beginning of the scene was so emotional, and the show made us clearly believe that maybe Blazar is gone. If he's not dead, he's at least really hurt. And it was so like sad to see just Blazar's like lifeless carcass, just like, no, don't make me feel like this sad about the caveman. But the show made me feel really sad. And when Gento turns around and starts walking, we start to hear rumbling. And when he turns back, we see Blazar, like he's not fully lit up, but you can clearly see he has some life in him. And he spoke. He said a sentence. It's the Z situation. It's the X situation. It's literally every Ultra host situation there is. The only person that can actually understand them is the host. But Blazar, as an Ultra, is very primitive and very much like a caveman. So it's like him saying a sentence was so good. And all of the moments that surrounded that scene like genuinely made me tear up. I hate like that piano slash fucking guitar version of our Spectra. I hate it. It literally makes me tear up. but it's so good. While the rest of the team, like Anari and Bando, didn't really got a lot. How much it was revealed by Gento's actor, that I think it was also confirmed by Taguchi also, that the original runtime of the final episode was a lot longer. Like, at first people thought it was like movie length, but from what I understand, it was supposed to be 44 minutes, which, fuck, like, I wish it was 44 minutes. But yeah, Anari and Bando didn't really do a lot in this episode, but my favorite character, Teraraki, got to do stuff. With Gento going to fight as Blazar, he gives Teraraki full control to command Scarred. And I just love that moment when Gento tells him that he has full control. It was so cool. And it's like, fuck, like, I love Teraraki as a leader. And it's like, it's such an interesting role because Teraraki very much feels like the prototypical, like, commander of a defense team. And him being the vice captain and being slightly promoted for one episode as the captain of the team was so great. And he got small little moments in that short period of time, like specifically saying to the GGF commands, like, no, fuck off. Blazar isn't going to fight the flea. Like, we're going to talk to them. It was so good. And the way he just closed the fucking communicators, like, shut up. Do what I tell you. I'm the commander now. That was great. And it's like, fuck. Like, I wish the show would have done more with him, but if you really think about it, I kind of explained it. He's the prototypical commander character. So, they don't really get a lot. But, like, everything about Teraraki in this episode was really fun. And it's like, I wish that the show did more with him, because I actually really enjoyed it. And for the final fight against Valeron, it was the complete opposite of the first episode's fight against Bazanga. First of all, it was big, it was bombastic, it was very much like a new gen type of fight scene. Like, if you really think about it, it was very much like a first episode type of fight scene. Like, everybody kind of remembers Decker's first fight scene, and it was very, like, big. But if you look at, let's say, Blazar's, it was very kind of, like, weirdly regular and weirdly pedestrian for Ultraman. But you could clearly see the difference if you watch the first episode and you watch this final episode, and it's like the night and day. Even specific, like the daytime, changes it so much. And it's such an interesting kind of like thematic thing. If you really think about it, it's like, oh, before Ultraman arrived, it was night. It lacked light, pretty much. But Ultraman is here. He's been here for more than 6 months, at least in Showtime. But for us, it was 6 months. He was there, so we have light. We fight in the light now. We don't fight in the darkness. We don't fight at night. We have a semi-useless dinosaur robot, but he does stuff. I love the way that at least Earthy got a metaphorical win with him actually like telling the fleet of ships that Earth isn't the bad guys. And you can clearly slowly see they're trying to make Earthy move outside of people piloting it. Specifically, like in the final scene, you can clearly see no one is piloting Earth Garon because all of the team members are like literally looking at Earth Garon, and Earth Garon just gives them a thumbs up. And it's like, oh my god, they're slowly kind of like making him almost like a regular kaiju. And it's so cool. They're making him like a Windom. Or like a Scavenger, because Scavenger wasn't ready piloted, but I always go to Windom first. But I just love that fight. I just love seeing Blazar fight. And the thing that I kind of talked about in episode 24, having showing us not only the ring that Gento has and the bracelet that Gento's son made for him were actually important, because Blazar finally got his beam, and he got it by the power of family love. And that moment was so cool. I remember watching it. I didn't watch it live. I couldn't watch it live, so I remember sitting down on Sunday morning and watching it, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like, I was genuinely like super hyped, and I was like, oh my god, he earned it. He earned the beam, and it's like the original beam pose. It's not something different. It's literally the original 66 beam pose. It's not like Jack that is slightly tilted forward. No, it is that, and it was so cool. Even like the Earth Kaijins got stuff with them eating the bombs, which still makes my comments about Blazar being a true spiritual successor to Gaia makes sense. It's literally what the Earth Kaijin in Gaia did in the last episode of Gaia. Not the very last episode, but they did help in the last arc. That was so cool. Like, I love that final fight. And the way that the episode ended in this very bright note, with the Flea on their way to find a new home, and just Scar thanking not only Blazar but Earth Garon. And they're just looking at the sky in the daylight, and it's just was so perfect. And the way that the show ended fully, with Gento coming home, embraced by his wife and his son. Gosh, that was an emotional end, and it's so weird for me. I remember first time hearing Brave Blazar and hating it, but I fucking love it. Again, if it's the song itself, and if you actually read the lyrics, it just makes sense. It's so great. And it was kind of interesting because it was an Ultraman finale. None of the team members discovered that Gento was the host of Blazar, which could be a thing that maybe in the movie we're going to get. But right now, that is a weird change, because I specifically remember seasons of Ultra maybe in the past they didn't do it, but it is the first time in the new gen era that the quote-unquote defense team never discovered that one of their members was the host of the Ultraman. Again, times are changing. I loved it. I want to thank a lot of people. I want to thank you all for watching the videos and continue to watch them, even if I'm uploading them almost a week late. For this past month, I've been working overtime all of the month, so it was really hard for me to upload videos in some sort of a timely manner. But I want to thank Subora Productions for uploading this amazing series on YouTube for free. I want to thank Taguchi for giving us this season, for having the great writers that work under him for giving us this season. I want to thank both the Japanese and English dub cast that were doing such an amazing job bringing those characters to life. Specifically, it's kind of funny to say, I want to thank Bandai for allowing the creators to be creators, because this is a genuinely pivotal moment in this franchise. With Blazar's success, we're going to see a lot more personal stories. We're going to return to what, in my opinion, was the best era in Ultraman history, and that was the Heisei era, when it was genuinely ran on creativity. It was genuinely ran on doing and trying new stuff, kind of breaking away from the formula, doing something fun, having some sort of a fingerprint of the creators on the show. Because when you watch Tiga and Gaia, those were very Konaka Chiaki shows. You watch Dyna, you watch Nexus, those were very much Hasagawa shows. You watch Max, you watch Cosmos, you watch Mebius. All of them have had the fingerprints of the creators that made them. Blazar is a Taguchi show through and through from the original Kaijin design. And if they used old Kaijins, they used them in a great homage to the originals. And they didn't push it down your throat. This is Ultraman. This is what Ultraman should be. Blazar isn't supposed to be super serious and super dark. It could be lighthearted, but it could still handle great, mature stories in an amazing manner. Blazar, as a season, as an all, if I could give it a grade out of my grading system, it's a fucking S+. It's in my top 5. It actually surpassed Mebius, the Line of Passion. It surpassed it. It's in my top 5 because I was genuinely connected to all of the characters. I am actually upset that Blazar doesn't get enough episode. I wish it ran all year. But you know what? I'm happy that we got a Blazar. Because of that, we may be going to get an arc. And we're going to get more seasons like Blazar in the same format of the creators being creators way after the fact. Because Blazar was a success. So thank you for watching the video. Thank you for the past 6 months for watching me and reviewing Ultraman. And have a great rest of your day.